Hello, folks. Do you see the government was all talking about exam results and how it should never repeat the situation where the students were put into? Why? As I always said, the politicians are good at guessing. Guess and see what the reaction of the people who are going to be affected and how they respond. And this time, because the students were more elitist of any other year during this corona affected exam results and trying to judge and guess exam results on the coursework and this and the other, and never consulted the people who are going to be affected. This is the norm. But let me tell you, education is such. A genius is converted through an extrusion system to become simply an idiot, just like myself. So I became an uneducated one. Becoming an uneducated is the most difficult thing to do in this time of the year, this time of in human history, because everybody from the day you are born, everybody is trying to feed you something that has never worked in their life. I laugh because the education is if it's not relevant to the circumstances that we are living in, if it's not relevant to our useful benefit of human enhancement, an education that we have received for over 200-300 years is a system of making you put through an extruder and made into nuts, bolts, and spare parts to fit a global economic monster which is constantly turning. And as it turns, they're all wearing out. The bolts, nuts, components wear out. And our children, our grandchildren, they then become, through the education process, then become the new nuts and bolts. With this coronavirus, as you can see, the companies are now hire and fire, which means our children will get hired, or our children will have to be further scrutinized or further sacrifice their knowledge, their attributes, their simple life has to be sacrificed to keep this economic monster gathering momentum and force, and it's crushing the human well-being, human consciousness, human sensitivity to life. And all of us have been put through this excruciating extrusion system of education, a Manchester style or Liverpool style, to fit the monster. And anyway, I became so uneducated. I undid all what I learned just so that I can fit outside of the logic of the education and become a magic to life. And in doing so, I also naturally had so many questions for teachers, because what teachers did was that I watched and I made up the meaning whilst teachers came into the classroom. 45 minutes, doom, you're out again. How could you learn anything in 45 minutes and the next 45 minutes somebody else come and start teaching you something completely different? Yet it's been told year after year after year, the same thing has been repeated to create the same formula of structured life, to fit shape turned into fit as you come out of the other side of the extrusion, that you fit naturally to the economic monster. And I also, with this uneducated mindset that I had, with so many profound questions that I asked, the teachers would not have me in the classroom, would ask me to stand outside. So I was the most outstanding student in the classroom, and for that particular year, always, because being outstanding, you have to work hard. No, being outstanding is that when you ask a question, that it is deeply and profoundly eccentric to what you're learning. And if your teacher is not and unable to answer, and Google lady is not able to guide you through the mountainous amount of information there is, you become a naughty boy. Yet I naturally became a gentle and a conscious being, paying attention and recognizing everything that went around as part of life, to be relevant for our life and our survival. And I did not damage, destroy, or distract anything. My questions were profoundly eccentric and deep in dimensionless way to know than what we know. Believing was never my idea. What I did not know, I opened up to a new possibility. I explore the nature of life through inner dimensions, and with that I learned to become sensitive to life, and with that I became sensitive to the realities that are facing us in our lives. And I hope all the students who are affected from this virus and the exam results and everything else are not going to be affected in their future, and how their future is going to shape in the society, because they are our future, our children, the children now, the children of the educational age. With what's happening, are we creating an environment that these children are becoming a useful and more functional and more involved life in politics as young politicians? Because as young environmental environmental ambassadors, and are they becoming more conscious and gentle beings? This is what we should produce out of this is what we should see our children to be, that we must make our way and make their life the future of the world. And what do they need? How they wish to see the world in the next 2 to 3 years, 3 years, 5 years, 4 years. How can we marry the ecology with the economy? How can the economy support the ecology? How can the mind be improved into raise the awareness of economy and ecology, so that we don't further destroy the planet and create the destruction and all the other difficulties and challenges that we upon ourselves have brought up for our own detrimental to our survival. Why should we do that? Why should we even leave something that we had caused to our children? It's so much, but so much would have happened if we have the relevant education to shape our future. Our education is processed, or our education is laid out 200-300 years ago to serve and deliver a subservient culture, and that isn't going to find welfare, well-being, enhance life situations in society, nor even on our world. We should encourage everyone to become involved, to raise our consciousness, raise our alertness, raise to become a fully fledged human being, raise to become an enhanced human being, so that we do not face a similar situations, or we don't create a similar situations. What is natural in the life process is not in our hands. What's in our hands is how we able to shape ourselves when anything is thrown at us, how we can turn that into a possibility, how can we change that into a living reality and a living experience from every problem. And that is the importance. And that's my understanding of education and life. How do you survive? How do you make it a living and breathing experience for you, for me, and everyone here? Because what you see as an experience of a pleasant nature is also what every other creature and every other human being is striving for. So why don't we all strive and walk the full stride instead, living a half a life and living half. Pause for your thoughts, and may your journey of life, may your journey of a fascinating and a wonderful life be a reality for you.